I got involved in the FFA early on. I think it was in 7th grade. My FFA advisor, Charles Funk, had reached out to me one day. I was taking one of his classes, and he reached out and said, "Hey, have you thought about joining FFA?" He says, "You got a lot of potential, and it'd be good if you could share that with the FFA group." And so I said, "Well, what?" I said, "We're not really farmers. We got a few animals, but we're not farmers." And he said, "Well," he says, "we could keep some records on your animals," or he said, "we can, get involved with your work that you were doing at Maury's Fish House." And so then, he just kind of gave me a little bit of ideas and got me going on record keeping. And so, that was one of those things about record keeping. He was always talking about it, and so I started doing it and didn't know what I was doing or how I was doing it. And he'd coach me along. Next thing you know, he said, "Well, I want you in some competition." We all had to learn the creed, and we had to learn how to tie a tie. And so right out of the gate, he puts you a little bit out of your comfort zone. I wasn't comfortable wearing a tie, and I definitely wasn't comfortable getting in front of a group. But that I remember back in those days when we had to recite the creed, and we had to do it with passion and pride, and I thought of that when I became a leader at Comtech Electric and then a leader at Egan Company. A little bit overwhelming when you think about it, but if you just think about you're just trying to share your message. And so we always look for those qualities in people. And somebody give me an opportunity to lead, and little did I know why I was getting picked. But after I became a leader and started realizing it, I always look for qualities in people, that they're humble and that they're willing to do their part. They would never expect something of people that they wouldn't do themselves, and they're willing to lean in and show them how, willing to accept their failures in some case, and being able to understand if they're having a hard time. I used to tell my people, I don't want surprises. I can take problems, I can take mistakes, but don't ever surprise me with something. When you know something's not right, let's come and talk about it, and let's fix it early on. I think everybody has leadership skills and is involved in leadership in some ways, but it's about how the opportunities they get and how they use those leadership skills, and more often than not, those leadership skills fit the best when they have an interest in what they do. In spite of what I might fear or might think that I'm not capable of, I always took it on as a challenge, and I always did my very best and worked hard at it. And honestly, I think in every case it became a success because I wasn't willing to give up. For myself and my wife, FFA really got me a good start, and I think it made me a good person back in the younger years when we met. And some of those, like at the state convention and the national convention, my wife at the time, we were not married, but she was able to come along and be a part of it, and so she's seen what that meant to me. And as I went through my career, I always reflect on how fortunate I am, and about being so fortunate. How do I give back, and how do I give back to others to have opportunities? When you invest in the FFA, guess what? You're investing in individuals. You're investing in real people, and there's no better investment but being part of real people. Charles Funk told me a story once about he invested $75 to, you give it to one of the students to get involved with whatever because they couldn't afford to do it or something like that. And that student later come back and told him as an adult, said, "Charles, I had to do it. I had to do well because you invested in me." And that's what we do. If we can give back, we're investing in people so that they have the opportunity and that they have the confidence that they can make a difference.